with Wade Sprenkle here in Missouri, and we want to do a quick video. We all know how last year ended up as a tough year, 2022. We're looking forward here to get started on 2023. This is end of January 2023. Things are looking better right now. But sitting down here with Wade, wanted to kind of do a year-end wrap for 2022 and just see what we obviously learned a lot in 2022 with the drought, as widespread as it was. So, like Wade, what did you see on your farm? What did you learn?
Well, you tend to learn quite a bit on a year like 22. You learn what you don't want to happen and what you would like to happen, of course. But no, in 22, we started off the spring. We got after it, got everything planted pretty timely. But we had lots of rain early, and that kind of put a damper on things. And you know, corn's trying to come up in standing water, and looked like we had full-scale hydroponics going on out there, you know. But from what we've seen from then on, you know, because we grew corn with the SureGrow only.
Yeah, what was your fertility plan for 2022?
2022 was SureGrow. So plus B and plus M.
SureGrow by itself.
Yep, SureGrow by itself. So, which honestly, like, you know, we had everything we needed to add on standby if we needed to, but we kind of got out of that funk a little bit, you know, because it sat in rain for so long, sat in that just saturated seed bed forever. Then it came up, then it started growing a little bit, and then it got pounded with rain again, and you can kind of see how it all went. I don't know, it stayed wet till about V6 probably. It was just very, very mucky, wet soil till probably 6th collar, 7th collar, and then it started growing out of it. Then I thought we were okay, and then it just shut off and went the other direction. So we didn't have very much time where it was actually like what you would call a good growing weather, because it went from very wet to just very hot and dry within a week, I'd say, week or two. So anyway, we actually seen at the end of the season, especially, like, what hurt us worse was probably being wet early for so long, because that long extended period of time, just the corn can't take that. So anyway, we had some ridge ground, some dry land that impressed us throughout the whole season, actually, because it didn't really go through that stress early. And we were like, man, this is going to be some really good corn. And then it got smoked there towards the very end. You know, we had good kernel counts, the ears looked good, and we pretty much lost everything by the end of it. But it held on for a lot longer than we thought it would. Then on the soybean side, man, the soybeans looked phenomenal, and we did have some couple fields that had fertilizer, our traditional program, on it, versus the rest of everything with only SureGrow. And the SureGrow ended up doing just as good or better, even on the dry land and irrigated. So that was pretty awesome to see that. But same thing, you know, just stressful year. I mean, we didn't have the top-end yields like we normally did. Had a lot of losses compared to, you know, normal. So coming off a year like 21 and going into 22, it just kind of rolls you over and beats you around a little bit and throws you back out. But it wasn't as bad as it could have been. And you know, the nice thing about it is we don't talk near enough about is how much money you had invested. You know, our inputs were low, and thank God for insurance, I guess, right?
Yeah, everyone's saying that, I think. So.
Yeah.
I guess, what did you see? What did you learn about the power of microbes throughout, especially a year like last year.
The power of microbes is incredible. You know, it without getting too like detailed in a video or whatever, but like if we're going through something hard, like if an environmental stressor affects us, it's affecting our microbes. So, you know, try to explain to people like if you get saturated in water and can't breathe, neither can the microbes. So like their situation, they were drowning. That's fantastic. But if they're hurting, or if we were hurting, they'd be hurting. So it's just a good rule of thumb. So I mean, if they have an environment they can thrive in, then you can really see some like physiological changes happening quickly in your plant. I mean, we were seeing beans progress after we would foliar with SureGrow and give it a little bit of water. We were seeing 6+ inches of growth in one overnight, and then a lot of new blooms and pods. So that's actually how we kind of came out on a couple pivots of beans, was like we just kept that going, you know, kept foliaring, kept watering. But the ground, the soil itself, so even though the yields weren't there this year, what we did in our soil has amazed me the most. Our soil, like we took a farm that had been pasture forever. It had never been out of pasture. And we no-tilled soybeans into it in the spring, late spring. And it was so hard that we couldn't, even with pneumatic closing wheels with them turned all the way up, pressure all the way up, you couldn't get the furrow closed. And we just thought, well, shoot, you know, hopefully it rains a little bit and waters these things out of the ground. And it did a little bit. And at the end of the season, to walk across that field and reach down and dig your hand in the ground and pull out some mellow soil, you know, which I described as like potting soil, that's incredible to me. So that was great. Soil tests, we cut a lot of silage, a lot of corn for silage, and soil tests come back at the end of the year with an additional 150 pounds of potassium. After not applying potassium, that's pretty amazing as well. So that was neat.
Yeah, definitely. I guess, what did you see in the dry situations from the microbes from SureGrow? How did that help you, benefit you, or hurt you, or whatever?
In the dry situation, I feel like the microbes can thrive more in a dry situation. I think that
compared to underwater.
Oh,
yeah,
100%, yeah.
Because moisture is the microbes' highway, so they need some moisture, but yes.
Yeah.
Not too much and not too little either. It's a
right
happy medium.
Well, just looking at and hearing the stories, you know, like, you know, we had a lot of, like I said, a lot of claims on corn, but I hate to compare like things I'm seeing in the area, but we seen some corn that just went up in smoke way before ours did. So it held on. I would say it definitely held on a lot longer. You know, a lot of guys had pollination issues. We did not. We might have had one number, but it's a number we typically don't grow. But we had one number that had some pollination issues in it, and it was non-irrigated. So, but yeah, that was probably a big deal, because people would, you know, well, you know, so and so and that whole part of the county over there, you know, their corn didn't even pollinate. Their irrigated corn didn't even pollinate. Well, our dryland corn pollinated. I mean, you had everything there, you know, even going into the reproductive stages, you know, R1, R2, like everything was building up to at least be a close to an average corn crop. And then of course we just didn't have the weather to sustain that. You know, you don't have rainwater, you don't have a crop. I mean, it just it just burns up. But it did make corn. It just was, not very much.
Yeah. I get this past 2022 was your third year using SureGrow, second farm wide. So you talked about that one field, like just what have you seen then as you progress with SureGrow on your farm wide, the soil health, how has it improved overall across the farm?
Man, the soil aggregates are, we have built such a fortress in the soil now. What you call it, I don't know, but we have our structure of soil. It actually, I guess, our lack of better terms, our soil actually has structure now.
Mm-hmm.
Not a real, I don't know. I'm not a real complex guy, and when you dig in the soil now, you can physically see that the soil is bonded together, with the microbes and the fungi and the bacteria that they have done something there, and you can see the aggregates that because the soil, instead of when you dig in it with a shovel and try to beat it apart, now it wants to cling together. And which we've seen that after the first year, but now, I mean, it really is close to like magnetic sand is a good way to describe it, because it kind of looks like that, and when you kind of pull it up, like grab a handful and you're kind of messing with it between your hands, it kind of just wants to stay together and just kind of flow with each other instead of just, if you pick up a handful of soil, you can kind of dump it out and everything, and now it's just kind of molded together, and it takes in water very quickly.
We'll need to do an infiltration rate.
Yeah.
Of your soil sometime.
Yeah, we should do that. But yeah, I'm very impressed with what our soil has done. It's been incredible.
Mm-hmm. And then real quick back to your soil samples, how you said you increased and stuff. So yeah, you're not mining the soil like you would think.
Right.
Your stuff is either staying consistent or actually increasing as we continue to unlock.
Right.
With the microbes.
Yeah, I mean, we're building organic matter. Our base saturation levels are getting better. Our calcium to magnesium ratio is getting better. Our base saturation and potassium, we started off before, some fields were at a 1 point something, and some are at a 2, and now we're as close to a 4 as I've ever seen, which is really what I've been wanting to achieve. And some of them are at a 3.6, 3.7. So yeah, I mean, our soil has become more balanced, and that is very, very evident in our crop too as well. I mean, you don't see nutrient deficiencies that you used to. So in our corn, did it struggle? Yes. We didn't see those struggles in the beans, but our corn taking off because of the wet environment that it was in, it did struggle. But as it got out of that and it started to grow, and then it entered into the reproductive stages, it never showed deficiencies in the leaf. We never had phos deficiency. We never had a potassium deficiency. If it showed anything at all, it would have been probably nitrogen of anything.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Well, like I said, we are looking forward to 2023. I'm sure you are ready to get after it here.
Absolutely.
And I'm sure if you want to know what Wade's plans are for this year, he's available to discuss what he's going to either be doing or plans and strategies, how to implement SureGrow into your operation. So.
Yep. Stay tuned for 23. I think it'll be a good year, and I'm confident we're going to achieve some things that we've never been able to achieve before. So I'm pretty excited.
We're excited, like I said, and we got a lot coming. So stay tuned, and thanks for watching.
Thanks.